Alright, hey guys, Simon here. We're playing Minecraft and we are working on the mountain temple. So, in the last set of videos, we made the stumpy statues, as you can see them up there. Yep, they look pretty good. So the next thing we're gonna do is to build a sort of monastery. So that's the idea that I got towards the end of the last set of videos. So we have the statues there, and then we have a temple to the left. So on the right side, we're gonna build a monastery, sort of thing. Maybe I'll transport some villagers. Is that music really loud? Anyway, I'm gonna maybe transport some villagers over here as well, and they can be monks. So here, somewhere, there's gonna be a monastery, and okay, the plan, I've got cobble and wood. The plan is to try to pretend that this is a thing that grew organically. So you start off with a small thing and then you just add to it. Add buildings, add rooms and whatnot to it. And so there's no master plan at the start. That's the idea, if you look on this side. And we're gonna pretend that it's just, evolves out of, over time. So we're gonna say, okay, so let's just start at the beginning. So first we're going to pretend that one guy comes to this mountain, and this is before this gets built, so it's a hollow mountain. He figures, okay, this is a nice place to hang out. So then he builds a little house for himself somewhere here. So that's the first plan. And then, later on we're going to add more and more houses to it, and then until it organically grows into a complex. But in order for this to work, we can't have a master plan to start with, because the whole point is for this thing to to evolve, not to be planned from the start. We're gonna try to do that, see how it turns out. So I'm gonna chop down these 2 trees. Unfortunately, we can't keep these trees, and there's probably not enough space out here for all the buildings, so I'm gonna have to dig into the mountains a little bit, I think. But that's all fine. We're not too concerned about that. Let's just grab an axe and chop these trees down, because we really want to work with an open space here. This one has to go as well. So before I started recording, I was looking around here. I was thinking probably just in this little nook here, probably raise it up a little bit, and then build the house halfway in the hill and then halfway out. So it's gonna be cobblestone walls, and then maybe the timber logs as beams, and then like a wooden ceiling. I think that probably sounds like a good idea. Alright, so let me just with some cobblestone, maybe a few logs, and with how to do this. So we're gonna pretend to be some sort of monk, he's not very rich, he doesn't have a lot of resources, he's poor. He's also kind of, he doesn't want to be too flashy neither, so he's gonna have a little house, he's gonna be a hermit out in the middle of nowhere, and he reckons this is a nice place to set up his new home, as it were. So he won't be able to do too much excavation, because he's by himself. So we're kind of making up a story for this guy, and so we're gonna try and make it so that the building is believable in the context of this story. So let's say he how big? So he's not gonna worry about the rest of the mountain temple, because that's not gonna be there yet. He's not gonna be concerned about leaving space for other people, because that's not really, he doesn't expect anyone else to come. So let's put his house here, not too small but not too big. So let's say he puts the foundation down like that, and then maybe he excavates a little bit behind. Oh look, it's raining. How big should his house be? Maybe even just that. Look, we're gonna have a bed. Actually, I'm not gonna make the furniture. I'm not gonna make real furniture. I mean, because that part I can leave to the end. Because I mean, I think bookshelves you can't break without it falling apart on you, and then beds and other things. Like at the end, I'll figure out where to put things. At the moment, I think I'll just leave spaces for things like beds and then bookcases and tables and whatnot. So a bed is only that big, 2 blocks. So imagine he has a little bit of room, like a little kitchen and a table. So his house can be as small as that, I think. Let's yeah, sure, let's just do that. Once again, we're not gonna be too careful about this. Actually, where should the door be? We can remove this. Where should the front door be? Can the front door be at the side, or should the front door be at the front? Maybe like at the side, like that. Because like we don't want to face... Look, he's like a hermit. Let's do that. So he's not really into facing the outside world. So he's gonna face around the corner like that. And then that's the bottom of the wall. I think we can... Yeah, so the cliff forms a convenient edge for the building. Right. And then... Interesting. Let's push this back 1 block as well. I'm always mindful not to make things too small. I mean, even though we're pretending that he's a poor hermit, as it were, and so his house wouldn't be too big. But with all design, it's important to be careful not to make things too small, because you never know. Usually people, including me, even I would, underestimate how much space I need for things. So, I mean, so it's not a big house, right? You can see this, right? It's not a big house, but it's not, it's not small. So, let's see. I think and with this approach, what happens is, I guess, we're gonna, rebuild a lot of things. We're going to build things and then we're going to modify them later, and so then we might have to redo a lot of stuff as we go. Like, we might have to demolish some things to modify, but that's alright. So we're going to try to make this authentic, as it were. So, in order to do that, then we need to actually build it as though we were modifying existing buildings, right? So try to make this believable. Okay, so we're gonna have little timber floors. It's pretty improbable that one guy would be able to do this, but still. Alright, then that's nice. Timber floors, and I guess so the door is just there. And again, cobblestone, because, we're pretending to be poor here. So cobblestone and small windows, I think, not big windows. Because, like, I think I say this from time to time, like, the size of the windows is an indication of wealth and of technology. So big windows are both expensive and technologically challenging. So smaller windows actually, means you're either poor or it's an old building, as it were. That's kind of, yeah, okay. I mean, with small windows, but that's a little bit tight, I think. Okay, let's go with slightly bigger windows. slightly bigger windows. Can afford a little bit of luxury. Not really, but you know. Okay, so there's that. And no back door and no back window, so I'm gonna close this off. Okay. Now the next part, I want the ceiling, but I don't want this to be too... Now what should I do about the ceiling? I've got logs that I want to use. Should I do that to the windows? It's still pretty small. Sure, let's do this. I mean, if we do that, that's a little bit too small. Okay, let's just leave it like that for now. And then the ceiling, what we're going to do is we're going to put some logs, like 1, 2, 3. That's not good. I've managed to make this. This is what happens when you don't plan things out. When you start building them. That's not... Actually, what if I... Okay, we can do that. So, the logs are going to go... Really? That's not what I wanted. So to make the... Actually, I should have left that. Alright, so the logs are going to go that way. So they're like beams, right, holding up the ceiling. That's what the logs are supposed to be. So, you know, that thing goes all the way across there. We might have it stick out at the end. That might be cool. Should we do that? Let's do that. So that it sticks out as well. Interesting construction. Alright, so let's do that there. And then, oops. And then this one there, and then the last one. I guess should it stick out at the back? No, let's not have it stick out at the back. I mean, the sticking out thing, it's kind of decorative, but at the same time we're pretending this is a real building, as it were. So, you know, the walls, you know, hold up the beams, and then beam holds up the ceiling. It's kind of interesting, I think. Let's see, is there enough? Yeah, there's enough light in there. There's enough light at the back. Okay, good. And then... Right. Now, what to do about the roof? What kind of materials are we going to put on the roof? Good question. Wooden planks? Wooden planks, would that work? Wooden planks? I don't know how I feel about wooden planks. Again, like no glass and no interior furniture, at least not for now. Just because we don't know. Let's get rid of this gravel. I don't really like the gravel here. Alright, so that torch, okay, let's go back there. Get rid of the gravel. And let's... oops. What am I doing? Okay, let's put a bit of dirt there so it's not a You see how there's no... I mean, when I talk about your designs, when you send them in for the Minecraft design school, I often talk about, you want to outline the base and you want to outline the ceiling. Right now there's no foundation, so it's slightly strange, but at the same time I don't really have space to put in a foundation. So, or maybe I do, maybe I want to change this. Maybe I want to use wooden slabs to give myself a foundation, move all the